Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about the wisdom of faking it till other people make it. Now, many of you will know the old saying, fake it till you make it. It's basically you live like you are that person you want to be. So if you want to be a millionaire, you live like a millionaire. It doesn't mean necessarily going out and spending a bunch of money. It just means you carry yourself in a different way. You look to millionaires and billionaires. How do they carry themselves? How do they behave? How do they think? What do they do during the day? And you start acting like that. It is a very subtle but can be very powerful way of actually getting yourself into the belief of having the thing that you wanted when you prayed and receiving it. But I want to have a different take on this. You could do the fake it till you make it thing, and that's fine and good, and it can work for you. But what if with other people, you faked it till they make it? This is a very different worldview than most people do. Most people go out through life. They have these people who are problems in their life. They are issues. They cause discord. They cause drama. And the individual just looks at those other people as the problem. They're the source of the problem. And while that may be true on just basic level, you as a co-creator with God need to rise above that. Not just be looking who you can blame. You can create a different reality. Now, I'm not talking about manipulating people against their own wishes to do things for you or anything like that. So don't misunderstand. This is strictly about when they are dealing with you, they behave a certain way that you would want. A good way. This is not something harming them or getting them to go against their own will. Nothing like that at all. So what if you started going through life and these people who are normally problematic, you start expecting the best. You start behaving as if they were that good person already. That person who treats you with respect in case maybe they're not respectful to you. That person who doesn't yell in case it's a boss who yells at you. That person who is overjoyed to see you instead of that person who acts like you're a burden to be in their lives. What if you started faking it till they make it? You start treating them that way. Because see, this is one of the things that many people don't understand. Oftentimes people are drawing out of those individuals, those problematic scenarios, the drama and the anger and the bitterness, the yelling or whatever. Because they're expecting it already. They're believing for it. They are going into the day believing that person is going to be the problem they've been in the past. And then, of course, that's exactly what they get. But what if you go into the day expecting the best from that person, expecting them to behave the way that you would desire them to behave, the way you treat them? Well, what will happen is you will start treating them differently. You will behave around them differently. You will not be in that reactionary mode, reacting to their bad behavior, which maybe sometimes is what they are trying to get out of you. Get that rise out of you. Get that response in anger. That you're feeding into that. Instead, you treat them as if they are that good person already. Now, this is what you should be doing anyway, but I know many people aren't doing this. Because I talk to people and they say, well, you don't understand, my boss does this. My wife said this, my husband did this, my kids are so rebellious, blah, blah, blah. No one talks that way about another person who is behaving in this way, who is faking it to the other people make it, who is believing for the best for these people and expecting the best results from them. They simply aren't. But when you start walking like this, you will start getting different experiences with people who otherwise normally are not good. I've told this story before, but I was one time in a store and I went up and asked the manager something and he was very helpful and helped me find the item. He was very kind. Everything was great. And one of the employees came up to me. The employees said, I can't believe they were so nice to you. They're always so mean to everybody. But see, I had no preconceived ideas about this individual. And I go through life expecting the best. So when I went up to the individual, I expected a good, kind response and a helpful individual. And I was kind to them. I wasn't expecting them to behave in some negative way or to be put out or burdened by my question. And they weren't. And I've seen that happen time and time again with people who later on somebody mentions something about them being a certain way. And I think about my experience, and my experience has always been great with them. But it's because I was drawing out of them that goodness. I was drawing out of them the better character they really have within them that is somehow covered by this facade of negativity and anger. So when you can adopt this approach to life, and one of the main ideas here is based on seeing the good in them, really expecting that, really believing for that. Not just hoping maybe they'll be better today. That's not going to get anything. I'm talking about really believing for the best and expecting the best. Now, this doesn't just apply to problematic people. It applies to, in general. In the example of the manager I talked to, I had no idea that person was normally abrasive and rude and angry with customers. I didn't know anything about that. But I also didn't expect anything negative as an experience with that individual. I didn't have to know them. I didn't have to know how they normally are. I just expected the best and believed for the best, and that's exactly what I got. So much so that another employee noticed it and was amazed by it because they had seen him be so rude to other customers and, of course, to the other employees. But my friend, this is a way to go through life. When you look in people and you see the good in them, it may be hard to find in some people, I grant you that. But you see the good and expect the good and believe for the good. Now listen, those individuals can act however they want with other people. You have no control over that. You're not manipulating them. You are just putting out a vibrational state that when they get in your presence, they're going to behave a certain way. And if they can't behave that way or refuse to, it's not within them, they will go somewhere else. And I've counseled people before on this who had bosses that were so angry and bitter and caused them problems all the time. When they started doing this and expecting the best and believing for the best from the boss, oftentimes the boss gets moved to another division or goes and finds another job somewhere and quits. Now, I'm not telling you to wish for your boss to leave or to wish for your boss to get fired or something like that. That's negative and that's evil. And when you're dreaming up those kind of scenarios for people, you're going to bring about bad results. But you can believe for their best. If they just won't change and they just won't budge on the problems they are causing, you can believe for them to get promoted. You can believe for them to find a better job that will fulfill them and make them more happy and bless them. Obviously, they're not happy if they're angry at their work and they're angry at everybody there. They're not in a happy place. That's not good for them, and it's not good for everybody else. So you just start believing for the best for them. Not to curse them, not to hope bad things happen to them, but to believe for the best. Expect the best and watch as you start experiencing the best from that individual. Now, they may not be that way with anyone else. That's not on you. You are just expecting the best, and when people get in your presence, they have to conform to a certain good way of living. And if they don't, they will leave your presence. And if they don't, and you have control over the situation, you leave their presence. Sometimes it's just a matter of not putting yourself in the position of being in that particular negative sphere of another individual. Just start believing for the best. If you have to stay away from certain people, then do that. Don't put yourself in that negative position. Just start expecting the best from them, believing the best from them. If they refuse to conform, they're going to have to go somewhere else because they can't be in your presence, your high vibration, positive presence. You can start drawing the best out of people. You can start faking it till they make it. At least when they are dealing with you. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.